Hello and welcome back to Holt Hanley Weather. It's a great day today if you're a snow lover in the Northeast, as Winter Storm Odell should be bringing over a foot of snow to select locations. Before we get started, I will say I make these weather forecasting videos every single day, so if you enjoy following the weather or you end up enjoying this video, you can subscribe to my channel. Alright, diving into my screen here, we're looking at the total accumulated snowfall for the Northeast by Saturday, according to the Euro model. Later in the video, we're going to be comparing the Euro with the GFS, and it's actually pretty interesting. According to the Euro, though, the bulk of the snow accumulated with Odell is going to be right here in northern New York, where over a foot is possible. The reason for that is likely due to lake effect, and we'll take a look at that later as well. Another key bullseye area of snow is going to be on the western portions of New York and northwestern Pennsylvania, where they get a little tasting of that lake effect snow as well. Higher accumulations in northern New Hampshire and basically all of Maine as well. So let's take a look at this storm as it moves in. This is showing right now. This is early Thursday morning, and you see most of the Northeast is just getting rain at this point. And the reason for that, it completely has to do with the circulation around a low pressure. Circulation is counterclockwise. So on the right side of this low, it's bringing in that warm, moist air from the Gulf Stream. As these winds come in right here, it brings in the warm air. That warm air rises, creates a bunch of rain. Now, where we see the heavy accumulations is when that cold air fills in behind it. This is showing 7 a.m. on Thursday morning, and you can see extremely high snowfall rates for northern New York as the low pushes into eastern New York, and basically all of Massachusetts is getting rain at this point. You also see some high snow rates fill into northern New Hampshire and western Maine. Again, this is Thursday at 7 a.m. This is basically right now, and northern New York is just getting hammered with snow. One thing to keep an eye on throughout this video is this region and this region in New York, because as this low moves off and the low is gone, well, the winds continue to bring that warm, moist air from the lakes, which continues snowfall for these regions. Right here you see Thursday at 1 p.m. This is this afternoon. The low has moved north of Vermont, and the heavy snowfall rates have filled into Maine. You can even see some purples working their way in there. That's going to be over 0.2 inches per hour of snow. So if you're getting 0.2 inches per hour, you can imagine what you can get in maybe 6 hours, possibly a foot of snow. So that low moves off, but the snow accumulations continue for parts of northern New York and western New York. And those locations really continue to accumulate snow all the way through Thursday, all the way through Friday, and even into the weekend. Where we're looking at it, this is now Saturday at 7 a.m., and western New York and northwestern Pennsylvania, you guys are still getting snow with this one. So it's interesting to look at. And the reason this storm is bringing such high snowfall rates at the beginning and then continuing to bring them later completely has to do with the jet stream. So right now, you see that jet stream organizes, brings a ton of energy straight into the northwest. I won't get into the physics too much right now, but basically, the upper exit region of a jet stream, this area right here that I'm pointing at, that is the area of the jet stream where you're going to get rising motion. Rising motion makes storms. When you get that cold air, lots of snow. So that's exactly what you want to see if you're a snow lover. And then, as you see the jet stream move off kind of east of the East Coast, those isobars start filling in right across the lakes, and that's just going to bring wind right into the Northeast. As you start to see in this picture, look at these wind streams just going straight over the lake, and those are pretty heavy extreme winds right there. You're looking at 30 to 50 mile per hour wind gusts with this. And what that's also going to do, it's going to bring in that cold air that is moving down from Canada and some of that really cold Arctic air as well. This is showing Thursday at about 10 a.m. You see the whole eastern side of the Northeast, it's still too warm, and that's because those winds streaming in from that Gulf Stream. those are some really strong winds right there. What that does, brings in the warm air, which makes precip fall as rain, but it also leads to storm development, so you get those higher snowfall rates later as the cold air moves in. And you can watch the cold air move in as this low pushes up. Well, think about it, counterclockwise circulation around this low. It's going to be streaming in, bringing that cold air right over the lakes. Now, what does that do? Lake effect snow is a pretty cool phenomena. What happens? That cold, dry air moves over the lakes, and the lakes are warmer and have moisture. So as that parcel moves over the lakes, it warms up, collects some moisture, rises, and then when the cold air moves in behind it, the precip falls as snow. That's basically lake effect snow in a nutshell. This cold air continues to move through as you see below freezing temperatures for basically the entire Northeast by this afternoon. So by 4 p.m., basically the entire Northeast, except for the real coastal regions, are going to be below freezing. And that's why the snowfall is so great with this storm. So let's take a look as this snow moves in. This is just showing the 24-hour accumulated snowfall. And again, this is just looking at the Euro model. I tend to go with the Euro model. I recently did an analysis of the Northeast comparing the Euro model with the GFS, with the UK Met, and with 3 different storms, the Euro model seemed to be the key winner. So that's what I'm going with for this storm. And they really focus on the lake effect with that one. The Euro model is saying lake effect is the key factor for Winter Storm Odell. So you want to take a look at that region and that region, because that's where those winds are filling in, creating that uplift and lots of snow. So this is showing the accumulations by this morning. As you can see, northern New York, you guys already have 5 to 8 inches, and this storm's just getting started. You can see the bullseye is still up into Canada. Well, as we click through, by 1 p.m. on Thursday, you see those accumulations start to fill into Vermont, New Hampshire, and Maine. Vermont, by 1 p.m. on Thursday, you guys have maybe 5 to 8 inches of snow. Northern New Hampshire, you're hitting the double digits, 10 inches, possibly over a foot of snow. And then western Maine, you guys are probably getting to that double digits too. By this evening, so this is now showing 7 p.m. Thursday for the Northeast, it really starts to bullseye into western Maine. You guys are probably going to have a foot of snow at this point, and the GFS is saying way more. They're going with some big numbers for Maine. And as you see, that area in northern New York and western New York with that lake effect continues to accumulate throughout this entire time frame. This is now looking at 1 a.m. on Friday morning, and you see purples all the way through northern New York, Vermont, New Hampshire, and Maine. All most likely over a foot of snow at this point in time. As we move through Friday, this is 1 p.m. on Friday, and then let's go to 7 p.m. on Friday. You can see it's basically done for Vermont, New Hampshire, Maine, but that area in northern New York, western New York, I keep saying that, but it's because that's the big story for the storm. It's the lake effect. And you can actually see, that was a nice little voice crack right there. You can actually see the perfect strip of where the winds are just pulling in that snow, and really a bullseye. This is moving into Saturday, and northern New York is still getting 5 to 8 inches of snow at this time. So by the end of the storm, they're going to have some nice accumulations. And the other good thing, it's going to hang around, so it's not just going to fall and then melt. The temperatures are below freezing, so it's going to be able to hang out for a while. Going to have some snowball fights. And, one thing I forgot to mention that is pretty important with this one. The winds are extremely high, 30 to 50 mile per hour wind gusts. So when you get a lot of snow falling and really high winds, that's when you get blizzard conditions. And you really got to watch out when you're driving, because if there's 50 mile per hour winds and there's a foot of snow on the ground, you're not going to be able to see anything. So take it easy on the roads this week. And you see that continues to fill in throughout Saturday, throughout Sunday. New York, you are still getting snow. I just want to throw up the GFS real quick. I'm not going with this model, but it's always interesting to compare because you never know who's going to have it right for each storm that happens. The big thing to look at here, GFS for Western Maine has a foot and a half of snow. Almost for the entire northern portions of Maine, except for the very coastal part of Maine, they have like a foot and a half of snow. That's interesting. And it's most likely due to that jet stream. There's a lot of uplift right in this area because of that jet stream pulling it up. So, I mean, it's possible. I'm not going to rule it out. And they actually have smaller accumulations for northern New York. They don't think the lake effect's going to be as big of a thing, and that likely comes to smaller wind speeds. They have maybe 5 to 8, probably a foot of snow for northern New York, but not a foot and a half. So let's watch as it moves in. The first picture, that's right now, so it looks the exact same. They have it moving in really high snowfall Thursday at 7 a.m. That's right now, and then they have really high rates for Maine. That's why they have Maine going up to a foot and a half. It's because at this point they have the low dropping down to 983, and they have really dark rates for northern Maine. So it's interesting to look at, and they have it hanging out, the snow for northern New York, but not as much. So this is going to be continuing through Friday and through Saturday. So if you enjoyed this video and you want to see more, there's a chance I've already made another forecast video at the point when you're watching this one. So check out my forecast playlist and subscribe to Holt Hanley Weather. Thanks for watching.